Hello and welcome to Matt Chambers Connects, a podcast hosted by Matt Chambers. This is the podcast that transcends boundaries, empowers cross cultural connections, and fosters a more connected world. I'm your host, Matt Chambers, and I invite you to join us on this quest to expand our understanding and build bridges between my two favorite places on the planet, Latin America and the United States. I've been traveling, living, and doing business in Latin America for nearly 2 decades.
What's up with you, man? How's everything?
Well, man, it's a full house, Matt. Totally different. I used to live alone for my whole life. Now it's me, my girl, the baby, the 3-year-old, the 13-year-old that we adopted.
Oh, I didn't know you adopted one.
Well, she's the daughter of her half sister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, real pretty girl. Actually looks like a model. She's been with us for about 3 years. She came here just to visit, and I told after she's here a couple, I go, why don't just have her stay? We can give her a better life.
She was in Venezuela.
So yeah, in Venezuela, yeah. Her mom lives here. She goes back and forth a few times a year, obviously. And then we have 3 dogs. So you can imagine. I think I counted. We're like 10 of us. The brother was here
You
forever.
got 10
also,
people in your house right now?
no, with the dogs, they're like people for me.
Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they all eat. It's like, this is chaos. This place, man. I mean, I want to get myself the next house. This is a nice size house. I need a mansion. I mean, my own wing.
You did like a 180, man. Right? And
Total crazy shit. Total crazy.
I'm seeing your life, and I'm like, damn, I wonder if that's what's going to happen to me one day. Because you were single, having a good time for the longest time, and then boom, 10, 12 people.
Always, and a loner, single, living it up. It was just me and my dog, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
This just happened, and it is what it is. Now we roll with it.
No, man, I feel the same. I've enjoyed my single life for sure. There's no doubt, and I'm gonna get to a point and be like, what the hell? I want that back. I'm sure at some point, but all my married friends are like, dude, don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah. It's different. It's different.
Yeah. So, hey, man, let's talk about you a little bit. I know you're born in Panama, and you were an immediate dual resident of the U.S. Is that right?
Yeah. My mom's from the States, so automatically I was Panamanian and American right away. So yeah, I learned both languages at the same time. I speak good English, obviously perfect, as perfect as you can speak these days, and Spanish. I have no accent, nothing. You've heard me speak Spanish.
Yeah.
People freak out because not only do I speak Spanish, I speak Panamanian Spanish, which is not like the Colombians. Oh, como está, parce? Panamanians, we speak like men.
Yeah.
And so do the chicks speak that way also.
That's
Man,
true.
those girls are, oh my God, I mean, if you want to torture somebody, just put them to listen to Dominicans or Panamanians speak all day, like on a loudspeaker. Holy shit. It's like, what do they say on the chalkboard? Just passing your nails.
Scratching the chalkboard. Yeah.
Man, I remember, just off the topic, I remember one time I was in my 20s and I met this beautiful stripper in a real high-end strip club in Panama, real high-end. Yeah, real high-end. It was owned by Russians. And this girl looked like a Barbie doll, blonde, white, Dominican. Beautiful, perfect, everything. Till she opened that mouth, man. Oh, my God. Oh, it's horrible. But I sucked it up for long enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't do it, man. As much as I love the Venezuelan people, right? I mean, they're incredible people. Mm-hmm. But there's something, and I'm dating a girl right now from Venezuela, but there's something about that accent that I hear it, and I'm just like, damn it, dude. I can't do it.
Venezuelan isn't as bad. Depends what part of the country you're in. Remember, it's a huge country. Like, you speak to a Rolo here in Bogota, and you speak to, here people in Antioquia, Medellín, which most people recognize, totally different.
No, absolutely.
They talk totally different. Absolutely. It's just so, the people generally speaking in Bogota are dry, this, that. They have no, while here it's, just totally different. Panama's the same crap all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small country,
What was it like growing up in Panama?
But yeah, that Dominican girl, oh yeah, it was great. Well, imagine I'm 53, so I mean, I grew up as a kid in the 70s, before, in 1980 I turned 10 years old. So In the 70s, you're talking about a third world country, had everything you wanted. People used to think that we lived in huts or something. My dad was already a millionaire in the 70s in Panama, imagine. I
Yeah.
mean, my dad used to make about 50 grand a month. Can you imagine in 1975
In
making that
1970.
when an empanada? Yeah, he had the largest auto parts store. That's he didn't share much of it with us, but but he had a yacht since we had a 40-foot yacht since he had the largest yacht in the country at that time. He was what in 1971 he bought it, for like 200 grand. That's a lot of money those days, and had 3 bedrooms, the whole thing. We'd go away all the time, 3-4 days. No, I loved growing up there. It was just simple times. The 80s were awesome there. Now
Yeah.
they got divorced in the 80s. I went to the States for a few years. But then as a young guy, it was awesome there. It was awesome. All the way to 2000s, a great place to live. I mean, Matt, you would have loved it. I mean, it was just party. I mean, the people in those days, there's no rules. You could park on the street. You got on the main street, 50th Street, and there would be just hundreds of cars parked on each side of the street at night, all night long. People with their, with the music on and the drinking and everything. And I don't really remember fights and problems. Or any of like that. Everybody's going from car to car, messing around. It's just awesome. When I used to go on the, we had money, so we had the boat, and we go on the weekends to Isla Taboga. You just, bring your boat out there and put on the music as loud as you can imagine,
Yeah.
and just party it up. Obviously there are no laws on drinking or any of that crap.
Well, are there more laws
So-
there now on drinking stuff? Well, they're a little more. They're so much more
Mhm, mhm.
Americanized now, right?
Well, it's not the Americanized thing; it's a world thing, I mean, you couldn't. They didn't know what a DUI was or a this, that, and other. That type of crap. Not crap because it's a problem, but that type of stuff you'd start hearing about in Panama. I think at the beginning was like a $500 or $200 fine. I don't know. That was maybe in 2000.
$500
somewhere around
fine.
there.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, but only a moron would get a fine. You give them $20 and roll out, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's Latin America.
Yeah.
I used to keep always in the old days, in the 80s, I always had $10 right under my air conditioner vent in the car, and
You get
I
pulled
go
over.
through a couple of those bills a week, man. I go just keep going. Or the old one was if it was just a cop on there's a lot of foot cops there. And so especially on the transito. So I tell you to stop like this, and you go, I'll be back in a bit, and you just keep going. They'd be so pissed, on their radio trying to get somebody else, but screw that. I go, I'll be back in a little while. I'll come back and get you
I
it's just
always
a mess. It's just a mess.
just
It's
all
fun.
over Latin America, right? Like I love watching the cops because they clearly just don't know what they're doing, don't care. I mean, people just, especially the criminals, like
care.
real criminals, they just troll the cops all the time. They know. It's
But I
almost
was
a
a mess.
joke.
I used to drive. I'll give you a quick story. I remember one time, I guess it would have been 87 or 88. I was probably 17 or 18. Man, I'm speeding. Cop just, tells me to stop. I just kept going. By the time he jumped in the car and I was in my neighborhood driving around. I forgot about it. It was like 10 minutes later. All of a sudden, this guy didn't let go. He fucking found me and he starts running, going after me. And just like in the movies, finally he stops me and he comes running up to my door all pissed. I go, yeah, I go, in English, in Spanish, I thought, but did you have a good time? And he goes, yeah. And then he starts laughing there. I mean, he was running after me for like 20 minutes, and that's that. I have 100 stories like that. I remember another time I was in the middle of the night, 3 a.m, just drunk, going home. I mean, I'm flying. Nobody. It was like a Tuesday night. Nobody was out. And I see a cop in the middle of the street. And I got, God damn it. I slam on the brakes. I go like this. And I stop right next to him. The guy was pushing his car. He had no gas. I still know his
cop
name.
had no gas.
Sargento Rivas. He had no gas. And I'm like, what the fuck? He goes, hey. And I go, what's up? I mean, I'm just buzzed up and he's just looking at me, and I'm looking at me. I actually scared him, And I go, what's the problem? He goes, I don't have gas. And I go, okay, come on, jump in. And I took him to the gas station, the corner. We got some gas. We gassed it up. Then we pulled over and start talking. He says, yeah, I'm a Sargento Rivas and this time. I go, yeah, I go, what do you do? That's a typical thing in Panama. What do you? Oh, my dad owns Motorel. He goes, oh, really? Motorel was actually a big auto parts store. We used to attend their fleet, of the police. And he says, all right. And, we're sitting there talking and having a good time. And he gave me all these coupons right in the middle of Noriega. Noriega was taken out about 2 months later. He goes, you're not sedicioso, are you? Because I go, no, mi general, I love him, And he gave me all these coupons because they used to have coupons for gas, this, that, all type of shit, okay? I didn't even have to pay for the gas because he had coupons for it. And he gave me all this stuff. I went to But that's another story. It was just I have so much. I have so many experience with cops. I could give you 50 stories. But
For sure.
those just good days. I mean, good times. It's very innocent.
One of the things that always made me laugh and still makes me laugh is, I have 18 years of experience in Latin America myself. I lived in Venezuela and, been back and forth for years, and now several years in Colombia, Brazil, all those places. And so I don't know it as well as you do, but I know it very, very well compared to the traditional Americans. And I've had so
Hmm.
many friends that call me and they're like, they'll say, "Oh, Colombia is really safe. I felt so safe. There were cops everywhere when I was down there." And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if that's your
That
gauge
doesn't work
on
exactly that
Colombia
way.
being safe, that doesn't work
Hmm.
that way, right? Like the cops don't
Yeah,
really
half of
run
them
this
are working
place.
against you.
Absolutely.
No,
And
no, and half of
if
them
somebody wants to rob
are
you, they're gonna rob you.
for the gangs. Oh, absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely.
If somebody wants to take your cell phone, they're just gonna pay off the cop.
Oh, they're gonna take it. Oh yeah, yeah. Or he's telling them, "Hey, look at that guy," because they're all in cahoots. I was one time
Yeah.
in, but generally speaking, I have good experience with cops, but I know how to
Yeah.
deal with them already. I grew up in Latin America. I remember one time in Salvador. I went to an auto parts association for all the auto parts store owners, the big ones in all Central America. I went just real quick, and I'll give you a story. And I remember, I was the youngest guy. My dad sent me there. Everybody's a whole bunch of old guys. We were partying for days, all this. One night I said, I'm tired of these old guys, and I went, to do all my mischievous stuff. And I remember being in some brothel somewhere, and oh my god, all of a sudden I'm ready to walk in, and I'm seeing all this commotion, all this is this, those cop cars with where all the cops are in I mean, they're just raiding everywhere. And the cab
Hmm.
driver just left me. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not going to get screwed here in Salvador. I'm talking 1993 to a 20
Yeah.
something year old buck. I take off running the other way. Everybody's running everywhere. I mean, I ran after that effing cop. I'm not a cop, the cab. I mean, I took it was like an eighth, I don't know, a quarter of a mile. And I finally jumped in the car, go, go. I got out of that one. Just a million times. I mean, it's not that I seem to have a lot of strip club and place stories, but it's just, man, it's just Latin America is so much fun. And I didn't only have fun in Panama. I had in Salvador and Colombia once. I was with a friend of mine who afterwards was the minister of, he was a minister in Panama, and he was the defensor del pueblo, where we got caught in a raid in a strip club, illegal strip club in Bogota once. And they just came and raided the place,
Illegal.
but they let us go because we were, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it was because they had the Ley Zanahoria, where everything closes at 1 or
Ah,
something. Yeah. And it was like 3 in the
ley
morning. It
seca,
was
ley
packed
seca.
because we're like, hey, where we go? Ley Seca or
It's
whatever. I
like,
think they call it Ley Zanahoria in those things. Or maybe that's what they call it in Panama. But yeah, we had a bunch of times. Oh man, I was arrested once in Panama, for example, after the Noriega thing. I didn't even do anything. We went out when we were burning out all the hot tires with the flags and stuff. I was with my friend. A few days later, we met up to drink, and he goes over double yellow line. This is the middle of that black. It was that Friday of that Black Friday weekend was the worst of the worst. I don't know what we were doing on the streets. We didn't care, but and the cop stops us, and we're like, "Hey, what's up?" Like nothing. And the cop looks and sees he left all the flags with the pineapple drawn and all this stuff in the back. And they grabbed arrest us. And this guy's an idiot. He turned 18 the day before. Or maybe that's why we went out. And I'm like, hey, I'm menor de edad. I'm menor. So he goes, oh, yo soy adulto. I go, shut up. He's a menor de edad. He doesn't have a cell or anything. He goes, no, but he wanted to have a big dick. Okay, you to tutelar a menores, you go to jail. I had to ask my dad to get him out there. People weren't getting out of jail. He was there like 3 days. So my father pulled some strings to get him out. But yeah, there's some good times in Panama, man. See, the States for me is all just generic BS.
oh, it's terrible. The States is terrible, man.
Can be more
It's
bored
just
than ever.
it is, and I think we've talked about this over beers before, but you look back, and I have so many buddies in the States, man, multiple millions of dollars, and I mean, successful, super successful businesses. I'm telling you right now, man, 75% of those people are calling me, wanting to know when they can come visit. They're like, they're miserable.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to anybody yeah, to the folks who are listening here, I mean, I love the States. I'm half American. I love it. Good place to make money. I make most of my money there. But if you want to have a good time and good quality of life, I'm not talking about Colombia. Latin America is the
Mm,
place.
absolutely,
Pick and choose your flavor. Pick and choose your
absolutely.
flavor. They're all different. It's just like you might be a beach guy, I might be a mountain guy. Or you want a little bit of everything. You might want smaller countries. You would, just there's just it's just what people live, they might be poor, most of the people here, but they have they sure as hell have a lot more fun when when those, like me, I'm in my 50s already. How much longer do I have? I don't know. Maybe 30
30.
years, maybe 30
Mm-hmm.
minutes. I don't know. Right. You know,
Right.
but I certainly I don't miss the States when I'm here. Do I miss a good bagel? Yeah. And do I miss a good slice of pizza, which, by the way, you can't get in Colombia, or at least anywhere I've been. I mean, it
Sucks, man.
sucks,
It
the pizza
sucks
here.
in Colombia.
They,
Yeah.
they try to change everything, man. Yeah, that's one thing about Colombians. You go to restaurants now, they just try to, that's happened in a lot of places. Everything, they try to gourmet it up. God damn it! If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
even the chicha. I'll give you a quick. I'll totally off topic, man. I jump around all the time. I remember I went to this new high end restaurant here, and I look on the menu and it said a bandeja paisa. You know what the bandeja paisa is? Your rice, your this, your that, and a big plate. You know what that is. It said desconstruido. I go, desconstruido. What the f is that? I go, I think I know what it means. Give it to me. All it was the bandeja paisa and little things like this. Here's the chicharrón, here's the rice, here's the this, here's the, like all gourmet. I go, I mean, what's the point, man? What's the point?
It's the
Not to
same
mention they didn't
shit.
serve
It's
anything.
just separate.
I mean, yeah, they just put them in little tiny tapa plates, all separate, and you grab a little bit of each.
So for anyone listening, bandeja paisa is the typical food. Is the typical food from
Yeah.
Medellín, and it's just all this crap in one plate. I don't know really why they love
Yeah.
that plate, really, but it's sausages and eggs and blood sauce. You
Oh,
name it, it's a bunch of trash on one plate.
yeah, rice,
Um,
and yeah, and then and that ground beef that's like powder, which I don't even
you,
know how they make that happen. You
I've
know,
eaten it one time
you
in
know,
my life. One time in my life I've eaten that, and I
I
was
get it
messed up
like
for like 3
once a
days.
year. I get it. Yeah, yeah. No, I like it, but I'll get it like once a year and break it down into 2 meals, like once a year. But no, and in Venezuela they have the similar one, which is the bandeja
It's much better though. No,
pabellon,
it's
the pabellon. Yeah,
pabellon criollo. Yeah,
pabellon. Yeah,
but
which is what
it's
we normally have here. But once again, only once in a while because it's just too much, man. Takes you out of commission.
But the
You know.
Venezuelan one's at least 100 times better than the Colombian.
Well, Venezuelan food is way better than Colombian.
It's not even
There's
close.
nothing to talk. There's no compare. The arepa is better. Probably
Everything.
gonna have some Colombian people telling you "F you, Panamanian," but
Yeah.
it's just. I mean, my family here is Venezuelan, and I never liked arepas. I always thought it tastes like cardboard till I saw people make homemade ones, and then
Yeah.
man, it's totally different.
Yeah, it's like
Still,
the
once in a
big,
while,
huge, thick biscuit, and they stuff it with all this stuff, and the Colombian ones literally taste like cardboard. I'd rather chew on my arm than eat that thing. It's awful.
that's right. And then most restaurants they don't even make their own. They're so damn lazy that they just buy it in these bags, and oh my god, they're just. I mean, it's absolute garbage, garbage, garbage. But yeah, Colombian food is not great. Just like Panamanian food is not great, but like for example, Panama has a world class restaurants now. I mean, of everything in manage, it's like a city. Medellin, I'd say it has some decent and some good restaurants or
It
whatever.
does.
But Colombian food is not. Colombia is not known for. Should not be known for their food.
They're not known at all. What I do love about Medellin and many parts of Colombia, though, is what you just said. There's some really high end restaurants coming, and you can get some really high end food. Basically, to eat something you're
For
really
nothing.
going to enjoy, it has to be something high end. And high end's like $15 here, right? $20. It's not.
Exactly. That's the one thing. You go to, and they're nice, modern, different type of restaurants. They're really going at and making really cool type places. And yeah, and it's nothing. $15 a plate, that'd be a lot. And that's these days. A few years ago, it would have been $10. I mean,
You
I
feel
used to
like
go
you're
get
in
the best
Miami,
steaks local
right?
here for.
Like in many of
Yeah,
these
correct,
restaurants in
correct,
Medellin, you feel
correct.
like you're in Miami, maybe even better than Miami in many cases for 15
I
bucks.
think better because A, the price. Yeah. And B, the way they tend you and serve you. I'm not a fan of U.S. service in the
Yeah.
restaurants and things. It's very generic. I feel like I'm going through glorified McDonald's. All those people are there just to pay 99%, whatever percent, just to pay through college or whatever. All they care about is how much I made that day. They don't care about the business. But most of these people are employees of these businesses here in Latin America, so they do care more. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They do care more. I mean, I remember one time, I'll give you an example, and I know a lot of people that don't think Colombia has the greatest service. I don't think it's the greatest, but for what you're paying and what they paid, yes. I remember I was in, actually, I think it was in Bogota. It was in the early 90s. I was there for business. I was in this horrible area. It's all factories and all stuff. Because I used to go there buy you stuff. And I was hungry, and they were packing up all my shit. So I say, hey, where's there to eat? And they said, oh, yeah, around the corner. So I went to this little hole in the wall, man. Hole in the wall, the comida del dia.
Yep.
These guys were dressed up with a bow tie. It was a hole in the water, and they served me like a king. And I remember going back to Panama. It was like $3 or something, and I'm like, this is just nuts, man. Because Panama service is horrible.
Is it really?
Okay.
Really?
I mean, if they could tell you the F you in your face, horrible. I don't know if the last few years has changed. No, they're horrible. You could be in a restaurant, it's empty. 5 employees are all in the corner. They're talking with their back to you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
just horrible, horrible, horrible. It's the worst service in Latin America that I've ever seen, bar
I
none, period.
dude,
And I've been to a
I
ton of countries.
I would have to put Argentina up there. Buenos Aires, Argentina up there with the worst I've ever experienced. I don't know
Really?
if you've been there. My God.
Really? That
The
surprised me.
the the food's incredible, right? The food is everything you sit down to eat's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible, clean, amazing. But man,
Yeah.
they pretty much throw it at you. I mean, they come, hey, what do you want? Right? You give them the order, they run back, they make it, they come back
Oh,
and
that's how
pretty much
Panama
throw your
is.
plate in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah,
I didn't even
Panama's
want
que
the food.
quieres.
I'm like,
Can you imagine you go to a restaurant? Can you imagine you go to a restaurant in Panama? They go, ¿Qué quieres? I mean, literally, that's how they speak to you. ¿Qué
what do you want?
quieres? You know?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just, yeah, but, with their shit accent, you know? And, yeah, Panama's horrible. Costa Rica, very good service. Costa Rica is so similar to Antioquia. Very similar.
really.
Very similar. It's just like I've told you before, it's so expensive. I mean, you go to it's not $15 for a plate at a high end there. It's going to be 35, you know? And now you're talking about crazy prices. I think I told you once, I used to go to like just a regular American sports bar. Okay. They didn't charge more than other places. Okay. And I would go out, like when I go to states like Flanagan's or any of these sports bars, I usually normally spend about $100 myself
Easy.
in a sit down. Where's the $100 come? Say about $25 in food, and the rest in drinks, $4 or $5 a drink. Or so I just drink rum. I'm not a beer guy. About $100 a night. In Costa Rica, same exact thing. About $100 a night because the drinks were like $4 or $5. The food, you get an appetizer for $10. Maybe get the burger was 14. I go, what the hell? After 3 years, I got tired of their shit.
Mhm.
And sometimes it was more expensive. I remember going to a birthday party once. Just I'll give you one example. And I'm like, man, I got to get a cake, for my buddy. He passed away. He's an older guy, and I'm gonna get the cake. I go by just a regular cake store, and I get, cake. It was $50, and I told the lady, I go, hey, espérate. I told her, I go, oh, un segundito. I go, eso vale, and I already living there for a year. I go, no tienes un revólver, no tienes unas pistolas. She goes, unas pistolas. Por lo menos sácame unas pistolas cuando me estás robando. You know what I mean? At least pull out a gun
For sure.
while I'm being stolen from. You know what I mean? Please, it makes me feel better because this is highway robbery. It was like a 7-Eleven cake for like $40-$50. And I bought it, and I have a lot of money. I had a lot of money then. And I take it to my friend and go, how much you think this is? He was a mega millionaire, the oil guy from Texas. He goes, I don't know, Randy. He really didn't know. He didn't pay attention to anything. This guy was a character. He used to pay a chauffeur to take him around. And all he did is drink. And he'd go to 1 or 2 bars around the corner from her house, pay him $100 a day, just sit there with him. Is that crazy? $100 a day every day. But anyway, he said, what, $10? I go, no, 40. So it's a very expensive place, but great place. If it wasn't their economy, everything's so expensive, I would live there still.
Yeah, it's so funny you're saying this. I was just on Instagram earlier, and there's all these travel people going around now acting like they know everything about Latin America, the rest of the world.
Drives me crazy.
This girl went through the top 10 countries in the world to live in, the top cheapest countries to live in.
Costa Rica always pops up.
Costa Rica was number 1. I'm like, this chick doesn't know shit about Latin America.
Bro, whenever I'm online and I see, I don't spend time with this crap, but whenever I'm on YouTube and I run into anything, man, I just blast them, man. I go, you don't know your ass from
That lady doesn't know shit. Costa Rica, number 1. She didn't even mention Colombia at all.
Yeah, Panama, when they also come in with Panama, I go, are you kidding me, man? Panama 25 years ago, yes. Now, no.
Panama today was number 4 when on her list, and I'm like, this lady's crazy, man. Like, you're dollar for dollar over there. I mean, it's not.
Look at these morons who travel around and people watch them and they don't know anything.
I don't know if they travel. I think some of them might just Google and find some articles that, from 1980 or something, because nothing they put up now is true.
Well, a lot of us, they're paid by countries also and by the Minister of Tourism, not the little chichipato ones, but the bigger ones. When you see like on New York Times or they're just paid, that's just part of they send a couple of people down just to have a good time on, that's all. It's nobody who lives in Costa Rica would say that. Especially now, their colones even hit harder. You used to get 650 colones for $1. It's at 500 or something.
Yeah.
That in the last couple of years. I mean, who would even say that? It's 650 as a ripoff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but great country otherwise, man. Great country.
You know, going away, you know, the food and going back away from the food, I guess, and talking about healthcare. You know, that's something that Americans that have never been to Latin America always say, "Oh my God, you get your teeth cleaned in Colombia?" I'm like, hell yeah, it's the best service I've ever had. Like Colombia has its problems, right? But God bless, I
Sure.
don't think there's a better place in all of maybe the world to live in terms of services like healthcare.
Healthcare's incredible.
Rappy, you know?
Yeah, Rappy's awesome. But healthcare, I got to tell you, you know, I'll give you just a few quick examples. And let me also give you an example. Like my mom, looks like I'm going to be bringing, she's 80, going to be 81 years old. Okay. Obviously, her Medicare doesn't cover her here. So I'm going to bring her down hopefully in the next few months. And for 160, you know, we get her residency. I'm a resident, so it doesn't matter. I can get it through that, or I can do it as a retirement. Doesn't matter. Boom, boom, boom. She'll have a residency in a month. Okay. That's another thing. Just hit it on residencies. They're so easy to get here.
Absolutely.
You know, you have the new, what's the one for virtual
Digital nomads?
What are they called?
Digital nomad.
Yeah, the digital nomads. I don't know where that funky name came in. So such a dorky name, but anyway, if you can get that, you know, virtually anybody can get a visa here. Okay, not to mention you can stay 6 months. But otherwise, my mom, when she has a thing for 165,000 pesos, say $45 a month, she'll have the government insurance. Okay, I'm finding if I can buy private insurance on top of that with my insurance guy, I think she missed the cutoff, which was 78.
It's 70.
Like
yeah, it's like 75, 70 or 75. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that, is what he said, but he's trying to find with another company to be able to add that layer on. But otherwise, she'll have the government insurance. She doesn't like going to hospitals, doctors anyways, but for an emergency, for like $40-something a month, any medications will cover, hospital, this, that, and the other. I think I told you last time, I have private insurance. I pay the government one, which is 165,000, like 40-something for my family. Then I'm paying about $200 for a huge family with private insurance. Go to any hospital, all that. The baby was just born a few weeks ago. Zero, nothing.
You paid nothing to have a baby?
Nothing. Okay, on that $200 a month policy. His own room, beautiful big room with all, I mean, just first class, best hospital. A few weeks before that, I think I'd mentioned my son had to be hospitalized. I think it was 2 days because he had an infection. That cost us a total of 82,000 pesos, which is what, 22 bucks?
Yeah.
$22. I'm a health insurance guy. You know, you're having a baby, you're paying $8,000, $9,000. Your Obamacare is $9,000 out of pocket. You're going to meet it unless you have some cost sharing thing that's something else. But it's incredible. Dental, I have some very good dentists, but basically my cleanings, I go to the best one in the area always. Now a cleaning is it's gone up again. It's jumped up in the last few years, but it's still about $32.
What's it, about 130,000 pesos?
About 130,000 pesos, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
about 130,000. You know, but I go to, like, when I was in Medellín, I used to go right there in the Tesoro. In those days, he was 110, but the change was different, so it was about $30. So I'm still paying around 30 at the best. But you can go for 20 or 25. The very good places.
For sure. No, I do it every 6 months in Colombia, and it was
how much you pay?
Well, the last time I think I paid 125, but that was 6 months ago, something like that. It's time for me to go now. But man, I mean, the thing is, like, a lot of people think you're going into chop shops, right? When you say $30 to an American, the highest end equipment, most professional,
everything. I was, when I used to live in Medellín in Tesoro, this guy's on the 20th floor overlooking Medellín.
Sure.
He spoke English. He went to college in English. Oh, and one other thing here, talk about just cleanings. I don't know if you've ever had cleaning in the States. There's cleanings and there's deep cleanings. Yeah. And for everything, they throw you the deep cleaning. There's like $400 or $500. I've gone 2-3 years sometimes, not proud of it. And they still charge me the 30-something. None of this deep cleaning bullshit. You get what I'm saying?
They're there an hour. In the States, they have a deep cleaning?
Oh, it's called deep clean. If you don't go like every 6 months or whatever, they know that you haven't been like, it's a deep cleaning. And it's depending on what part of the country, it's between $400 to $600. And it takes about, a regular clean takes 25 to 30 minutes. This one takes 30 to an hour. Doesn't make any sense to go all the way to $500-600. It's just a ripoff. I have had dental in the States where I get a couple things done and it's a few $1,000s. Here, I would say dental here for the medium and big things is 15 cents on the dollar.
Jesus
for the same
Christ.
exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've had
Yeah.
incredible experiences, and outside of the dental, I've had a lot of regular health issues here. Well, I mean, not issues, but I've gotten sick on
Good.
salmon. I got sick on my own salmon. I just want to make that clear that it
Well,
wasn't the food in the streets; it was my own. So no one thinks,
yeah.
oh,
I like to I like to see where they sell salmon on the streets, man. Where they sell salmon lollipops,
But-
hot dog salmon. You know.
No, but the point is, when you say that you got sick in a foreign country to a lot of people in
Yeah.
in the States are like, oh God, that food made him sick, Um,
Oh, let me give you. Can I give you an example, Matt? One more in healthcare. My mom was here when I had the bars in Medellín, and there's a hospital called El Rosario in El Tesoro, the best hospital. That one and another, the two best hospitals. And her blood pressure went up. Bottom line, this hospital is like a resort. It's 2 blocks from where I live.
Mhm.
My mom went there. She was there for like 8 hours in the emergency, or say 6 hours in the middle of the night. She was all worried, how much it was going to cost. It's $23.
Oh yeah, yeah.
23. She couldn't believe it. I think she almost had a heart attack, and they had to put her back in when they gave her the bill. I mean, it was just so ridiculous. She could not believe. She says, Randy, this would have been, well, I'll give you an example. I once got bit by a dog, no broken bones. All they did was clean me up in an emergency room in Naples, Florida, clean me up. I had a fracture, but they didn't do. They cleaned, wrapped it. I was there for like 2 hours waiting in Naples, 2
For
hours, and it was at the discounted rate cash. It was almost $1,500.
For sure. Yeah, no, I got sick on salmon, my own salmon. And I called up my buddy. That's when I first moved to Colombia. He says, man, you don't go to the doctor here. You go straight to the emergency room when those things happen. And I was like, what, emergency room? I don't want to do that. But I had just signed up for SORTA, private insurance. He said, no,
Okay.
absolutely. Go now. I go there,
Yeah.
go up to the window. I swear to you, dude, there's 6, 7 people in the line, something like that. I flash my SORTA card at the window. She says, oh, go over there and pay 50,000 pesos, which at the time was about $14, right? I literally, dude, my ass hadn't hit the seat. And they said, Mr. Chambers, come on back. Because you have the private insurance, you skip the whole line.
Exactly. I just went a few times. I told you I get my checkup, all this. I just did my checkup, all these things. What's the copay? Was 3,000 pesos. I go, well, that's like 75 cents. And then I had like 3 or 4. I did all my blood work, a bunch of shit, because I've done everything came out to 12,000 pesos. And they attended me. It was very professional. It's just awesome. There's nothing to talk about. But if you're from out of the country, for example, what a business to really market the people to come do, forget about just getting your tits done and things like that. Great. But dental work.
Yeah.
You can come down here, party your ass off, stay in the Dan Hotel or stay in the Intercontinental, party your ass off, get $10,000 or $15,000 of dental work over there done for $1,500. Say $1,500 the party and have her for $3,000 and keep the rest.
Mhm.
And it's going to be world class.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, when I'm in Miami, you start doing the math, and if I fly I can buy the flight, come down, stay for a week, get all the services I need to get done, dental, health, all that stuff, and it's cheaper than me just doing the service in Miami. Way cheaper.
Well, that's way cheaper, and you have a blast. That's what I'm saying. You can make a vacation out of
Absolutely.
it. So yeah, and then there are plenty of countries like that. Costa Rica is more expensive, but a lot of people go there. But really, Colombia for plastic surgery,
Any kind of
for
healthcare,
dental,
any healthcare.
any type of really anything. Geez, I should probably, and we'll just move on to another topic, just real quick.
Good.
My girl's mom, I should probably started this a few years ago. The day the baby was born, they came back from the hospital. She had this heart shit. She almost died. Literally speaking, she has this cheap government insurance that her husband bought years ago. Okay, this woman had like triple valve surgery, had all this. She got attended. She got so lucky. She got attended by the best surgeon in the country here in Medellín for that, because he's the teacher of that problem she had with her vessels. If we had to pay for it, would have been really cheap actually, and compared to States, like $35,000. I think it was 160 million pesos. We didn't pay anything. They've attended all those years. She survived, and that I'm an insurance guy in the States. That would have been $1 million problem in the States.
Yeah, you sell health insurance in the States, right? Is that?
Yeah, for 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, anybody who's self-employed, all type of insurance. I have health insurance for anybody who needs it or Medicare. But the insurance here kicks the ass of the ones in the States.
Yeah.
I personally go back and forth. I have an international insurance policy above the one I have here. So I'm covered if I'm going to the States. If I hear they're just a high deductible plan, just to have that blanket. But man, people don't realize the quality of life that you can live in this country. Not in this country only, Latin America. But And there's different levels. Yeah, you could be the guy who makes $1,200 a month and, just wants to run after tail and this, that, another. You're an old guy, whatever. That's fine. You can be the guy who wants to live a multi-million dollar lifestyle that would cost you,
Multi-billion.
25, 20. Yeah, yeah. Or, if let's say you're a single guy, what's a good apartment going to cost in the States now? One bedroom, not in the States, but even in Atlanta, but let's say Miami, you're looking at $5,000 a month just for a decent one bedroom, right?
$3,000's average rent in Miami.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you want to live in a nice building,
$5,000, absolutely, $5,000,
$5,000 where you want to live in Sunny Isles or whatever it is in a brand name type building. Not that the $3,000 doesn't suck, but not in some apartment community, whatever. You're looking $5,000. Then start adding the shit up. You're gonna go to 15 to 20 grand. If you go out to eat a few times a week and you party in the man, I tell you, with $5,000. I lived like a king when I was single here, but I lived, well, you never went to my apartment, but you knew how,
No, I remember,
you
yeah.
could tell how I lived. I had a nice car. I had, I got any restaurant, I had half a dozen chicks at a time going out, and so forth. I live good. You will live like a king. Do you need $5,000? Of course not. You can live like a king for $3,000.
Sure.
But if you want to live like in a private building and the this and the that of the best and the best, and take it across the country, even the Cartagena, the Bogota, wherever you want. And you can go to the better restaurants. And the thing of these type of places, they're going to get to know you real quick, and they're going to treat you like a king.
Mm-hmm.
You go to those type of level restaurants, they'll treat you like a king. Even at other types, if they see you all the time, they're going to treat you very well.
Absolutely.
You're not a number here. You become a man or a woman, but in the male thing, you become you're somebody. While in the States, you really have to have a lot of money to be somebody.
Well, and even then, right? I mean, I say it all the time. I'm like, I honestly don't think a professional athlete lives as well as we live here. I really don't.
Yeah, I
mean, I really don't. There's a lot of, a lot of stress, a lot of, it's just a lot of stuff involved in this bullshit involved in the States that you just don't experience here.
No, the lifestyle's just great. And again, I know your favorite is Colombia.
Well, I don't know. I think my favorite's Brazil, but then
is Brazil now?
Yeah, it's Brazil for sure. After being in Brazil, my favorite's hands down Brazil. But Brazil's not that cheap. I'll say I would really put like Rio and Sao Paulo really in the first world for sure. I mean, everybody in Brazil's driving a nice car. No, they're not driving a Mercedes all the time. There's plenty of them down there, but they're also not riding a moped around. You don't see that ever. So it's there's people down there have money. It's seriously pretty much it's the first.
Well, we got our share of mopeds here, don't we?
Oh my God, man, do we? I see 5 wrecks a day.
Well, I remember this is not a Latin America thing, but I remember when I was in Taiwan in 1999. I've never seen so many damn mopeds ever. You couldn't even walk on the sidewalk. It was just everywhere. And you get to like the red light, and there's like 50 mopeds and women, girls, they were just waiting there. If you think they have here, it's crazy in the Orient, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And they're so annoying, though, that sound. I mean, I know that people need them because they're more affordable, but yeah, Latin America, Dominican Republic's totally blown up in the sense that tons of people are going there. I think I told you recently that I think it was 13 million people flew into Dominican Republic last year, and they're already on track to beat that this year.
Why? Why is that?
Well, Dominican Republic, they're marking the ass out of the place, but the beaches, Punta Cana's like a Miami already. I mean, geez. But then we got the north of Dominican Republic. I always forget some of those beaches, but Sosua, which is like a dump of whores and stuff, but there are some nice other beaches where there's the beaches are nice, but that's just a dump and they're cleaning it up. But you go a little north and they got where all these people, all these hippie type Europeans go there to, what's that, paragliding and all that bullshit, but yeah, Dominican, it just depends. Let me ask you this. Are you more a mountain guy or a beach guy? You like living in the nice weather with that, or would you rather live on a gorgeous beach? That's always, because I come from from Panama, that's where I was around the ocean. That's one thing I miss lately. The cool thing here is you can pay $75 round trip and be in any, there's not many really nice beaches here in my opinion, but Isla San Andres is the place.
San Andres is
just dropped it.
I would say,
but that's so cool that you could just spend 70, or you go to Cartagena to the beaches out there. Not in Cartagena, but off there, right?
Yeah, but the thing I hate about Cartagena is like Cartagena itself sucks. I mean, the people are a pain in the ass. And the beaches are ugly right in Cartagena, so you have to get a boat out to the nice beaches. I mean, historically, I used to think I was a beach guy. Medellin's the only mountain place I've ever been that I really loved. But then when I went to Brazil, there's something cool about that Brazilian beach culture that's just pretty awesome, But I think more than anything, I think I'm a city guy. I think I like to be in the city, right?
Yeah, I've always been a city guy. Now, in my situation and getting older, now I don't like being in all the hustle and bustle.
Mm.
Things change. Things change. But if I had to guess, like retirees or people 50s and up, now, I think most would rather mountain type places, nice climate,
Oh, for
nice
sure.
this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's not a ton who would run the beaches. I'm sure there's plenty, but I think most people. I know in Costa Rica, there's a big thing. A lot of people would move to Costa Rica and go straight to the beaches, and after a year, whatever, 6 months or whatever it was, they would just have that heat all day and the humidity, and they would move to the nice climate areas. But that's why I like Costa Rica so much. I used to live in a place like Medellín, which is called Escazú, outside of the city, which is part of the city, but the high end, it's like San El Poblado. Okay. I mean, and I loved it. And if I wanted to go to the beach, which I never did, only once in 3 years, and it was a shitty beach, it's an hour and a half or whatever,
Yeah.
super cool, super cool, you know, but you can live very well, very well.
I think if you're making dollars and you can do that virtually, you're stupid not to check out Latin America at some point because
If you're working virtually, you're right. Yeah.
you're an idiot. You'd be an
Couple
idiot
things
not to
there.
try it
First of
because your
all,
money
yeah,
triples.
and you're and actually more than that, because first of all, I meant to mention that earlier, especially with the whole virtual thing now. You're in San Francisco, screw going to Iowa or Idaho, whatever these people are doing to lower their costs. Okay, not only is it a third the price here, I always say it's 40 cents on the dollar. Okay, but remember, you have if you're out of the country 10 months of the year, you got the foreign exclusion.
That's right. 110 grand. 100.
Man,
Yeah, 110 grand. Yeah.
is it a 110 that if it's 110 if you're single? So imagine that saves you right away easily 20 grand. It's easily
More
saves you
more than
20
that.
grand
It's more
roughly.
than that because you're in the
Well,
20 20
remember it's a scale. No, but remember it's a
20
scale.
20
It's a
24%.
scale. So
That's a 24% bracket. So yeah.
yeah, I mean you go up to 35, but it starts at 12 or whatever. But easily is a number 20, 25 grand. Okay,
Mhm.
it's
For
easily
sure.
20, 25 grand. Okay, easily, easily. Okay, easily. So imagine if you're a single guy, I mean, that's 2 grand a month that goes right away. Not to
You can
mention
live on
that,
that. You can live on
I
just
mean,
that here and
I mean,
everything else is saved.
you could exactly,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah.
So it's just awesome, and then you grab your Spirit or whatever once in a while back to the States and get your fix. Like me, when I go there, it's all about getting me. Like when I'm in Florida, I want to get my New York slices of pie. I want to get my bagels, and I want to go to Publix and get their sub sandwiches, which are the best. Have you ever been to
I
Publix
know.
and their sub sandwiches?
Six, dude, every day,
Have you ever been there? They are
$6.50.
the
$6.
yeah. I mean, they're subbing. You get the boar's head on. I mean, man, they're better than the sub places. Except those damn ladies. I don't know what their deal is. They have all these Jamaicans there, and you have to wait an hour to get a sub. But just 3 or 4 things that I like over there, and obviously I like going by the beaches in Florida. But here, you live here, man. You take a flight to San Andres Island, get your fix every couple months if you want, 3, 4 days, and then come back to the mountains here all the time. It's in the 70s. It's great, man. It's great. Not that the whole
Yeah.
country's not like that, but I love it, man. I love it.
What's your business experience been down here? You told me one story about the bar. You had a bar in, I believe, Rio Negro, and there was a guy that was your best employee, and he left one weekend. He got drunk, and he texted you like Monday and said,
Oh yeah.
"Boss, I'm not going to be in today. I'm still drinking."
Yeah. And he's well paid. He was a chef, which is a glorified word here. You know what I mean? I've seen line cooks in the States who can, any line cook who can dish out more plates than, I mean, these guys are, I mean, and the word chef or bartender is used very loosely in the restaurant business here. But honestly, you pay somebody X amount here. You say, oh, it's way less than the States, but you need 3 of them to do the job compared to America, and they're not going to
Yeah.
do it right. I've seen bartenders in the States, swear to God, they're behind the bar, it's a 20-person bar, and they're the one.
Yeah.
Here,
The
you
only
need
person.
5 people to tend that, and they're going to fuck it up.
At
I'm
least 5.
sorry. Seen it a million times. Yeah, you're going to need it. I remember I had a girlfriend of mine in Costa Rica. She wasn't American, but she looked perfect American. She's totally Americanized, full of tattoos, all this, the blah. She was at the American Sports Bar. She would be the only person there from 12 o'clock to 5 through lunch hour. She'd run the bar and anybody would come to eat, and she would just dish the shit out of it alone. I mean, you can't get that here. You can't get that here. You need an army of people. It's uh, you really have to think what you're paying for.
If you're new coming to Latin America, right? I mean, you see all the stuff in the news happening in Medellin right now, killing foreigners, drugging foreigners, all this stuff. And if I'm in the U.S. and I've never left the U.S., my thought is, oh my God, that place is a war zone right now. And I wouldn't really recommend Medellin at this point. I'm not recommending it to people
No.
right now. I really don't. And if you don't know it, right? You and I are a little bit different because we know the streets here. But what's your thought on safety, in Medellin and then Latin America as a whole?
Yeah, as a whole, Latin America, obviously, you're not going to go to Venezuela tomorrow, but generally speaking, Maine is not a place I would recommend people. It just seems to me that, and again, when I use Americans, I mean Europeans, Canadians, whatever, right? People from the north,
Gringos.
they're very naive. Yeah, they're very naive, man. I mean, when they're in their travels, I mean, very, very naive. Who just, just starts talking to people and go to their house in some barrio.
Exactly.
I mean, your common sense. The problem is their wieners thinking more than their head.
Right.
Wrong. I mean, so nobody pays attention to you at any bar ever in the States. And now you got this sweet piece of ass who's 18 years old and you're 50, just falls in love with you and a half. It's like, nah, nothing wrong with that. That sounds
normal.
Don't get me wrong. That type of shit happens all day long. There are plenty of good people, but you just, man, that's probably something you should, not do, but otherwise, I mean, if you're a normal person, but most of these guys are coming down here, and I know because I own bars down here, and I got to tell you, Matt, you see the most clean cut guys like you, right? And they'd come into the bar. I was behind the bar. What? Hey, what's up? Let me get a drink. And first thing they'd ask me was, "Where can I get some Coke?" And I was like, "Whoa," because I don't move. I don't move in that world.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't
exactly.
drink rum. You
Like,
know
I
me.
don't know.
And I own the bar. And after a while, it wouldn't even surprise me. I go, "I can't help you with that, but just walk out the door." And
Somebody.
somebody's going to stop you.
Yeah.
Is going to offer you because they offer me, and I'm one of the owners. And these idiots still don't realize. I mean, I still these dummies, and you see me here every day. I'm one of the. I own three, the couple bars around the corner. You dumbass. I mean, and that was the first thing. It wasn't even the chicks. Chicks was number 2, or maybe 3 or 4. Number 1 was they come down here to do that. So imagine if you're high end, you do whatever you want in your life. I guess you're probably. I have a friend of mine who's a business guy in Indiana. Remember, I was in Indiana last year.
Yeah.
Very successful guy. He's been here quite a few times. This guy has been drugged and robbed 3 times.
Are you serious?
3 times.
How do you do that?
He brought. Okay, yeah. How can you be so stupid? And he's a smart guy. And because he's wants to, I guess, show off and all. He brings one of his employees who's making good money. He also gets drugged and robbed. I go. They were telling me this when I was up there. I go, what are you guys, dumb? Why would you? I go, first, you're stupid. Second, why are you telling me this? That's embarrassing. Yeah. It's like if somebody caught you whacking off in a corner or something. You're going to go tell somebody? You know what I mean? It just makes no sense. The first time, okay. Second time, they think like they're immune. It's like other people get cancer. I don't get cancer. It's just, so yeah. So going back to here, safety. No, Medellin sucks. Bogota actually is better. Cartagena sucks. But if you just be normal, it's really not a big deal.
Even in Medellin, I was going to say that the biggest things are, I think you said it without saying it, but just for somebody who just doesn't know this area like you and I do, keep your cell phone in your pocket. And what I mean by that is don't freaking bring it out and check a text message. Don't check your Google Maps. Don't make a phone call in the middle of the street. And don't show that you have money. If you need, or another thing that drives me crazy is I've seen this 1,000 times. These guys get robbed because they had a Rolex on. I'm like, if you need, number one, if you need a Rolex to get laid in Latin America, you got a serious problem, man. Your problems are deeper than you know.
What should be carried if you want to carry a lot of money? Keep 200,000 pesos in cash
and a credit card
and one card, and that's it.
That's right.
One card so that you don't need more than that on the. You get a photocopy of your passport because you don't need the original if you have a photocopy. The rest, leave it over there. You don't need to lose everything and all that. People aren't coming in. If you want to talk about danger, people aren't coming into the Intercontinental or into your hotel and knocking your door down and stealing everything. The shit's happening on the streets when you're doing dumb stuff.
That's right. And
that's it. Just stuff that you would not do. I would not go to Hialeah, Florida, and just start walking around
at 2 a.m.
with my cell phone out in the roads at 2 a.m. I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go down to downtown Atlanta. I lived in Georgia. I wouldn't go to Atlanta or anywhere and just walk around like a moron at 2 a.m. So that's my take.
In fact, I'm never going to the south side of Atlanta or, in a bad part of Atlanta.
Oh, that's right. You
Daytime,
used
night,
to live there
yeah,
too. Okay.
daytime, nighttime,
Yeah, yeah.
anytime, right? Like,
Yeah, but I probably wouldn't even walk down Roswell or Marietta. I wouldn't be walking it out at 2 a.m. anywhere, and there's these people that just do the dumb things, but they're all, jacked up and all this stuff. So I would, people are probably going to hate me first, but I'd give the tourists 70% of the fault, 30 to
I
Colombia.
agree. No, I agree. And I might even go 80-20, 90-10, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
for sure. I mean, but I will say there's one thing though, is these guys dating online, right? That's normal everywhere else in the world. You can go any country in the world almost that I know of, hop on Tinder, hop on Facebook, hop on Instagram, meet girls, go out for a drink, get to know them, whatever, meet men, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, but maybe if you're in a third world country, go to Hard Rock Cafe and meet there.
Yeah. You can't do that here. That's something you just you get on.
That's what I'm saying. Go to Hard Rock Cafe. Go to Hooters or whatever and meet there, and then don't leave with the person right away and think you're the sexiest, you're Brad Pitt or whatever, right?
Exactly. The interesting thing is when you really get to know Colombian culture and most Latin American cultures that I know at least, people don't just meet someone tonight at a bar, get a drink, and then go hang out with them immediately after. Like you might meet someone, you think you like them, you get their number, and you start getting to know each other.
And they rarely take you home. They rarely go to home because normally they live with their parents.
No good,
so certainly
no good girl in Colombia or Venezuela is going to go home with you night one most of the time.
Neither Panama, neither Costa Rica, much less to their house.
Yeah. If they're going home with you early,
so let's go back to my house.
You need to run, right?
Yeah. But yeah, safety. If you're street smart, like they always say, there's intellectually smart and street smart. Most of these guys are just naive as can be. They're just so excited. I guess I get it. They're so excited. They see people dancing and music and people talking with them. Not only women but guys. People. Well, normally they sit in a bar somewhere alone. And nobody would speak to them, or they just. That's how the States is. Hey, unless I go, that's why when I'm in the States or Florida, I only go to Latin bars and stuff. Because you go to a damn sport. I mean, you're just, that's just boring, man.
Yeah.
You might as well sit home.
No, absolutely.
Might sit home.
I've had, all the guys that have come down to visit me down here, and there've been several over the years. They all go crazy, and honestly, I feel like a couple of them, if it wasn't for me knowing the ropes and the streets down here, they would have gotten in some serious trouble. They come down, they go crazy, like you just said. You get more attention from people than you've ever had in your life, girls and
all type. We're not only talking sexual.
That's right.
Just people happy, want to talk to you. This, that, the other. They're excited. Let's talk about this. I said, they combine that, combine with everything is given away. Not to mention that the money doesn't look like real money. It's like Monopoly money. You remember when you first go to a place, what the hell, but, and then everything costs nothing, So, and then it's all, you got some beautiful chicks and this, people just go nuts, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's not an excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I never thought about that. You come down here and you can just afford whatever you want, no matter what, no questions asked. And then they just start throwing money around and drawing attention.
Yeah. Can you imagine you go to bars or restaurants here and nice ones and, you're spending what it would cost you a third or half of what would cost in any local sports bar, and you're in a high-end place and they're treating you like a king instead of you could be at nice places in States and you're begging for another $18 drink.
Yeah.
The other day, not the other day when I was in Indiana, these guys, I didn't go that day, but they went down to Nashville, right? The party. And my friend actually lives here in Medellín, a Canadian guy. He told me, Randy, you know what the I guess it was scotch, or I guess it was like a scotch and Coke, or let's say I think maybe a vodka. He said double vodkas were $30. A drink of vodka, $28 or $30. Can you imagine paying $30 in fucking Nashville, Tennessee, which is like going to Disney World? I'm sure it's nice and all that, but it's just this generic place. Can you imagine going out and living there and each drink costs you $28 on the strip there?
Not only that,
you're
but
just nobody just begging and they're just throwing.
Exactly. You buy 5, 6, maybe 10 of those drinks a night if you're buying for your buddies, and you get out of there $300 and you end up getting nowhere. The next day you're like, "What did I just do that?" You're hungover.
Nowhere, nothing. And here you go there, and and then like people are just all excited. You have somebody come into my bar and spend a couple $100,000 in a few minutes. I'd be, wow, great client. You don't get that in the States. They just And again, you just don't get it. You don't get it. It's very generic. The employees don't give a shit. All they want to know is what their tip is. I would encourage anybody who wants to live here in Latin America, great. I would encourage anybody who wants to do business here. Yes, there's businesses, but don't think it's going to run automatically. Do not think you're going to put it on autopilot and go back and forth and all that. You'll show up, it won't exist. It will not happen. I've owned 30 businesses in Latin America at least, okay, over a 30-year span, more than 30 years. Not happening. But is there good money to be made? Yeah, of course there are a lot of wealthy people here and all that. Colombia's not a great place probably to open most businesses or any, with this president and shit. Too much laws, too much stuff with employees now. It's just, there's so many countries that are great, like Nicaragua. It's still like the Old West. That's one of the great things about Latin America, that Old West feel that you can still, the party,
right.
the this, the that, the other, not every single darn rule like the States, I mean, I think in the States, they don't give you a ticket for jaywalking, like if you cross the street the wrong way or something. It's just nuts,
I was back there,
and I love
Randy.
the States again. I mean, it would sound like
Me too. I love the States, and I never want to say anything bad about them. We're just talking realities here. Like, there's nothing overall. There's no better place to live than the United States. But I was back there recently visiting some family, and my my brother-in-law is really high up in the state police, and he's also a very successful entrepreneur and does very, very well outside of that. Super smart, super awesome guy. But we were talking at dinner, and he said that they had done a speeding sting in West Virginia like the day before, and he alone wrote like 16 tickets. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, see, those are the things that add stress to an American's life, right? You're driving down the road, like 55 miles an hour. If you go up to 62 and the speed limit's 55, there's potentially some dude sitting in a bush hiding a mile away, and he's going to get you for a $200 ticket. That's the bullshit you don't have in Latin America, because you're never going to get that here. It's just, so in most ways, I feel like I truly have freedom here. If you fuck up, no one cares that much. They understand that humans are humans. They're going to fuck up.
Yeah, and if you do, it's for $5 or $10 bribe, for them to go get a beer. And you might go with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
You might go with them.
Exactly. They're not trying to act like
I
they're above
have
you
many times.
Here,
No. As a matter of fact, they want to go hang out and stuff. Like I said, I had so many cop friends in Panama that became friends with most of them because they stopped me. Even here in Colombia, just a couple of days ago, I was at the bar, and at one of the local little bars there, one that I was going to meet up with you. The police captain of Llano Grande was there, and I'm sitting there gabbing for like 15 minutes. He's the one who has, Uribe has his garita right here. That's where he is, right around the corner from my house. I hadn't met him before. Actually, I think I did like a year ago. But super nice guy. He's the captain. He's been captain there for 30 years, old guy. What's up? Right away he could see you're a person of a certain. Yeah. Right away he wanted to. We started talking and you think somebody in the States? You see a cop there, they're all. It's just.
Yeah.
Man, people. I mean, everything. If you're just a retiree with a simple income, to a businessman, if you're working, or what you call nomads, or a business guy who can do his stuff mostly virtually, or even if you're very wealthy, there's you can live the life in Latin America. And, I bet Brazil, I mean, if you're like really wealthy, like you said, I mean, doesn't Brazil have like a bunch of billionaires and stuff? Just very high-end neighborhoods. Everybody thinks Latin America, we still live in huts. No, Go to Panama.
Brazil's super high class.
You see buildings that are nicer than the ones at Miami. I would imagine.
Brazil's crazy.
Imagine they have buildings that are better than Miami, right?
You know what's interesting about Brazil is the women there also want to show you that they're independent. And what I mean by that is I went on I lived there for a while, so went on many dates there. Yep. And plenty of times that a girl say she's going to the bathroom, she'll go up and pay the tab, and you don't even know she did it. And it was weird. I don't like that. That's not my thing, but they do it just to show you that they're independent. And, and a lot of other Latin American countries, they're trying to like suck money out of you every way they can. But in Brazil, they have money. They don't need it.
Yeah. Most Latin Americans countries, it's funny how women are that, that they want women's rights till it comes to the tab,
Exactly.
Which is fine. I'm not into that. I'm a man. I make my own money, and I don't need anybody buy. It actually makes me uncomfortable. Anybody, a friend or anybody buys something, it just makes me uncomfortable.
I agree.
I'm the guy usually who pays for stuff. It's just very weird to me. and if it did, okay, okay, but I'm getting the next one, and I mean it. And guys are like that in Latin America too. They'll, generally speaking, they'll just go somewhere else when the bill comes. It's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. I've had more guys ask me for money in Latin America than women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. They don't give a shit. But I have a friend,
Mm.
which this guy. I mean, it's like his front or his pockets are sewn together. This guy wouldn't put out a. I know him for 30 years. I've never seen him pull his wallet out. I don't know if he knows what they look like or how that works. But that's
Yeah,
how they are.
yeah.
They don't even go to the bathroom when it's a tab. They're just not paying.
I like the fact that people are happy in their gender roles in Latin America, and the shit works too. You don't see as many divorces. Women are happy being women. That's all they want to be, is a feminine woman that they're born to be, and men
Yeah.
want to be men, and it just freaking works. Or at least men, we want to be men, I think.
Yeah, now I would submit that just I don't know if it's an age thing now, but most of the guys are a bunch of pussies these days coming up, a bunch of wimps, and just generally speaking, I mean, I've seen a million times at my bars where the girl's paying for the guy here.
Oh, for sure.
Just I always tell girls, I feel so bad for you, and I've been saying this for 20 years. Actually, I used to say it even 25, 30 as part of my pitch. The pickup chicks was, I go, man, I feel
Yeah,
so
yeah.
bad for you, and they go, wow. There's just no real guys out there anymore. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say I was, I just go, hey, I just feel bad. There's no real guys. And I'm like, yeah, I know this, that, and the other. But what am I saying? I am a real guy. That was part of, I think, the pickup
For
chicks.
sure.
But it's the truth.
Yeah.
They're just a bunch of wusses out there. It's not a U.S. thing anymore. It's everywhere, man. You know that.
No, I'm with you. I can't tell you how many. I would say a high percentage of the couples that I know here, the women are paying for the guys, right? And I just can't
All
do
the
that
time.
shit, man. I can't do it.
Nah, I have no interest in it. I have no interest in it. If I can't work hard enough or be smart enough or whatever it is to pay a damn bar bill, I mean, well, who am I? You know what I mean?
Especially in Latin America.
Especially in Latin America. I mean, geez, it's just ridiculous. But man,
Yeah, yeah.
I know man, we gotta meet up one of these days. But what other topics you think some of your guys again, just go over a few healthcare.
I
Talk
think
about
the
there.
I think the next there's nothing to talk about. It's so much better here. But no, I think the last thing is I'd like to know your opinion on where you would, if you were moving here tomorrow, right? You're a retiree in the States, or you got your money you're making virtually, and you want to move to Latin America and take advantage of this. In Colombia, what do you think's the next big thing? And in Latin America, maybe shoot off some places that you'd recommend people to check out.
Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't, even though I'm from Panama, I wouldn't go to Panama. That was 30 years ago, 25 years ago. I wouldn't go to
Mm.
Costa Rica. I would places you could look at now, believe it or not, is Salvador with the new president. I mean, it's
Yeah.
totally safe. I've been to Salvador many times. Very
Mm.
affordable, Matt, and it's really nice. It has real high end areas. Remember, you can live in high end areas for the price that you can live in any place in the States. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we were speaking recently, just to give you an example. A year or ought ago, I had an apartment in Lantana, Florida. What? Lantana, what? Okay. It's in Palm Beach County. Beautiful apartment, one bedroom, whatever. It's just an apartment community. I was paying $2,130 a month for one bedroom, plus cable, $100 was $2,400 a month for one bedroom. Okay. In nowhere, Florida. All right. I mean, I wasn't in Aventura, which I've lived in before, which ironically, just so you can get an idea, I had a one bedroom on the water in Aventura in 2014, and I was paying, don't hold me to it, I think it was $1,650 for one bedroom. Gated
Oh yeah.
community, the whole thing.
But
Okay.
that's 10 years
So
ago.
look how much prices have gone up. And but that's in Aventura, Florida on the water. Okay.
Yeah.
So where I was at now, beautiful place, but I'm looking at a parking lot from my balcony, not the water. Okay. But anyway, you can live in any of these places in high end secure areas. Okay. So Salvador is a place. Nicaragua, even though it's a little dumpy, there's some nice areas there. Problem there, it's hot as hell. I'm going to repeat it. Hot as hell. You walk around, literally, I used to say, your shoes are going to melt off your feet. It is hot, but the beaches and this and but it is affordable as hell, safe as can be as well. That's Central America. But coming, obviously, Ecuador's a mess right now. Total craziness going on. There's a war zone. But Colombia really is where would I go to Colombia? Well, I can tell you, I'm probably going to the coffee region. Very similar to Medellin. It's going to be the next thing, I'm sure. Coffee regions, 3 medium-sized cities. very nice weather, mountains, beautiful. Probably, I'm calculating my cost of life for my family. Listen to this. It's not expensive here, even though up here it's gone up like crazy. 40% less than here.
Wow.
40% less. I'd say it's going to be
Wow.
35% less than Medellin. Okay. When you put in the rent
Insane.
and this, that, and the other. I just saw a beautiful home in a gated community in Los Cerritos for
Mhm.
rent. Beautiful. 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, gorgeous pool. Looks like a Miami place. 7 million pesos. Okay.
which is
That's
not even 2 grand. It's not even 2 grand.
1800,
1,800 bucks.
yeah, 1800 a month. So I'm going to pay $1,800 a month for that beautiful place in a gated community with a pool and all this, my own private pool, the whole thing, or I'm going to pay $2,100 in damn Lantana, Florida. No, thank you.
I'm telling you right now, you're going to have more
Yeah,
fun
go
in
ahead.
the coffee region in Colombia than your guy paying 15 grand a month and living in Miami.
Agreed. Now let's just talk about Medellin, since you're there now. A lot of people say, yeah, I think that's still a fine place to live, but you got to choose your area. And when
I don't know.
like for example, everybody talks about Poblado. Poblado's a big area, man. You got to move up to El Tesoro. You got to go to Alto de Palmas. You need to go, or even go to the real Alto de Palmas, which I used to live there as well. But yeah, I would not recommend Medellin to people. I think it's expensive. There's actually areas outside of Bogota that I'd go first. Honestly, I wouldn't go to Cartagena. Santander, Bucaramanga. I've never been there. Done a lot of research on it. Great little city of about 400,000. Have you been there?
No, I haven't, but I'm starting to hear. I'm starting to hear though that the safety up there has gotten a little out of hand.
Really? I've heard it's really safe, but things change here. You know what I mean? Medellin, we know the safety's effed up. I mean, it is
It's
just
fucked up, man.
I mean, you can be in the best place and they'll grab you. And yeah, I don't, but there's a lot of smaller places like Bucaramanga, and probably going even there's real high end areas in Cali. The problem is Cali's so darn
Yeah,
hot, man.
God, and
And there,
dangerous
for
too,
me,
man.
if I'm going to live in a place that's hot, Matt, well, no, but there's some nice areas now. It's changed a little bit, but the problem with me, if I'm going to live in a place that's hot, then you better have a beach next door.
You got to have
Otherwise, I'm not
water.
doing it.
I agree.
Does that make
I
sense?
agree.
If you got
Absolutely.
to have water. Otherwise, there's no point. It's like, why live in Orlando? Go to the damn beach.
Yeah,
Go. If you're in Miami and you're going to suck up those 6 months, you better be able to pass by water all the time. But I'm not going
exactly.
to sit there and live in Atlanta at this point.
Yeah,
That's just my take on how it is. But yeah, there's a
I
lot
agree.
of good living, man, to be done here. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
living, and it's a lot
Mhm.
of fun. Maybe people will start shooting down here even more and more to live, not just to come and party for a few days,
Yeah.
because most people are just not. Every time I'm in the States, I got to be honest with you, I've gone back and forth for many years, and I'll wrap my spiel up with this. It's kind of depressing, you know. And
Absolutely. I
you're a
agree.
sociable guy. I'm a sociable guy, but I don't enjoy myself. I become a loner.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's your
I agree.
experience. I become a little
Yeah.
bit of a loner over there.
Well, the US is just you don't have any real friends in the States. Like everybody thinks you do, but you don't have a guy you can just go kick it with, right? I mean, if you do, then you go to a bar and he has 90 minutes and be like, "Hey, we can have 1.5 beers and I have to go
Correct,
exactly
correct,
7:30." You're
correct.
like,
Because I got to get back home.
"All right, fuck
And let me
that."
give you an example. Like, for example, you could have married. Yeah, you could have. It's so funny you said that's happened to me many times. But here, even Latins, they change over there. But here, you can have somebody who's married. Well, they're married. No, they can still go out and they're still going to go out and party and have some fun and enjoy
Exactly.
themselves and not put a
Exactly.
time limit on it. Even if they're married, they'll go out and have fun. I'm not talking anything weird or they might not, but that, they'll come in and hang out and have a great time and then go back home.
Or if
You
they
know what I
need
mean?
to,
But
they'll
there
bring
they're
their
not.
wife with
Everybody's
you,
on a
right?
schedule all day
Like
long.
if they want to keep
They'll
hanging
bring
out,
their
they'll bring
wife
their
and all
wife,
that. Exactly. Because the wife wants to go out too.
or they'll invite you to the house and
Exactly. Exactly. It's like the social life there is really. I don't know. I become a loner. I don't like it. But I've had exactly that happen. I have an hour and a half. It's so funny you said that.
Well, I think most of the time, though, Randy, that an American or maybe a Westerner that's been living, especially in the States, I know this, I don't think you know that you actually want that type of friendship because you've never had it. So you don't even know that that's abnormal, what's going on back there, right? Like you think that going and sitting down with your best
Yeah.
friend at 6 and leaving at exactly 7 is normal there. And it's really not. We've seen each other one time in 6 months. That's not normal, you know? But once you experience this like we have, then you recognize, "Oh, shit, what I was doing before isn't normal."
Yeah, and then also like I love the states. I like America. I just don't feel I have anything in common with most of them. We just live totally different. And I work hard. I wake up every day. So it's not like, oh, I'm just some Latin who just likes to party. You know, Like right now we're talking, I'm having my rum, man, hey, best rum, Romei, man, for
Oh
5
yeah, you
years.
love that stuff, huh?
I love it. But yeah. Yeah, but you have your drink, shoot the shit. I'll be the day before yesterday, I'm sitting down to my little bar that I want you to come to one day, and this guy shows up with his dog there, orders his half of whiskey. He owns a business, and another guy who owns a food distribution thing. Then one of my old buddies who's 67 years old, who goes there a few times with a businessman. Awesome, we're shooting the shit
Yeah.
and bothering everybody. And these are wealthy people. One of them was just in Miami for the marathon that he paid to go to do the marathon and all stuff. These aren't poor people,
Yeah.
you know. You know what he was telling me, Randy. You know how much, because we're teasing the bar owner. He goes, "Oh, it was more expensive than the burbuja where we go. We're teasing him. You know how much the beers at just any place where he was at says were $12, but he forgets to add tipping on. So it was like 50,000 pesos a beer. While here a beer is even the imported one of the same Heineken that he was talking about, or American beer, would be 10,000 pesos.
Oh, yeah.
50,000 pesos for a beer. He says, I don't care. When I go there, it is what it is. They're not having the time we are.
When I look back on my experience prior to Latin America and then my experience in Latin America, I can comfortably say that there are a lot of things that I've experienced here that I didn't even realize I wanted because I had never had those things given to me or shown to me. So once you get here, I think you experience a lot of things that human beings in general really just need and want. And at least that's been my experience.
Yeah, and we're men. In our case, we're men. We want to be treated like men, not like a number, not like a wuss. We want to, provide for our families if you have some. You want to provide for yourself. I would recommend that anybody, if they can make money and live in a Latin American country, generally speaking, you will never regret it.
I agree. Hey man, I think we've covered it. This was incredible. I appreciate your time. I knew it was going to be great with your experience. I knew it was going to be incredible, but let me ask you, if somebody wanted to reach out to you for any of your services, how would you suggest they do that?
Yeah, just go to my website, randythehealthinsuranceguy.com. If you need health insurance help in the States, I can do that. You need international, great. Otherwise, I hope people keep following you because you're good. I'm sure can't wait to see all the interviews you do. There's just so much more than just USA, man. And that doesn't mean we don't want to go back and get our fix. We love our USA, but man, can you really man, look, I'm 53. You're what, in your early 40s now. It goes I'll close with this. It goes so fast, and nobody is on their deathbed saying, I wish I worked more,
Right.
or just under. That doesn't mean that you have to be some loser. We're not losers. And if you can find a way to make the type of income that you want in another country or back and forth, do it, man.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Thanks so much. And I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Matt Chambers Connects. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we'll dive deeper into these two fascinating worlds. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Matt Chambers Connects. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, and many other major podcast platforms so you don't miss a show. Also, please join us on our social media channels so you can connect with other listeners and ask your most pressing questions. And also tell us what types of guests you'd like to see on the show. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.